Well, good evening. This is Keep 100 Podcast. This is JR, your host. I am here with a beautiful young lady, Christian R&B artist, Lisa Stevens, out of Memphis, Tennessee. How you doing,
Yeah.
Lisa?
Hi, doing good. How you doing?
Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
Uh,
Now, out here it's raining. I don't know what the weather's like out there in Memphis.
it's supposed to rain later.
So it's to rain later? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, it's nice that I connected with you. I've had a music friend of yours on the show already,
Yeah.
that'd be Chad Howard,
hmm
and I've talked to a few other of your friends. Um, I'm going to start it off and find out a little bit about you. We're going to dig a little deep and have some fun. I'll probably make you
Okay.
laugh a lot. That's just my
I'm sure
nature.
you will.
Okay, that's just my nature at all. Okay, so let me just start it out, Lisa. How'd you? Now you've been singing for how many years?
Long time. Started as a kid, in the bedroom with the hairbrush microphone, of course. We all start out like that.
Okay.
Um, and I did that, and then I went to junior high school and was very, very shy.
Oh,
But
really?
I had a teacher who believed in me and pushed me out and made me do a whole lot of solos. And the
Okay.
funny thing was, I had the voice, but I didn't have the stage presence. I got out
Ah.
there and I just kind of stood still.
Okay.
And it was like, what's going on with this girl? But when I got into high school, I was at a performing arts high school, and my teacher, Lula Hedgeman, who was absolutely awesome, she taught me excellence, professionalism, and how to be confident and feel the music, to be able to express myself.
Oh, wow.
And so I learned that then in high school,
Okay.
and had lots of solos doing that. And then did talent shows, weddings, things like that. Got into bands, was with
Okay.
a tribute artist, and went to Las Vegas and Alabama, Florida, a bunch of cool places. It was a good experience for me.
Let me stop you for 1 second. How was all right? So, how was Vegas? That was. Let's,
Oh, it was
let's talk about
awesome.
that.
Yeah, we stayed in the New York hotel. I rode the
Okay.
roller coaster. I'm a big roller coaster. I love
Okay.
roller coasters, and
Okay.
rode that. Stayed in a real nice hotel, and
But
it was fun. Yeah,
now the performance. What did you do on this performance? Where you were?
I was a duet partner.
Oh, cool. And what in the music?
He
Christian
was a
music?
tribute. Yeah, he was a tribute artist, and I was his duet partner.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We froze for a minute there. That's just probably due to the weather a little bit. So
Oh,
don't
okay.
don't worry about that too much. We got rain here, and that's how it is when it
Yeah.
comes to that kind of stuff. But let's go back a little further. As far as brothers, sisters.
Yeah. I have two brothers, and my oldest brother has a daughter in college and a teenage son. And
Okay,
then my
all right,
youngest,
okay,
yeah. So
that's cool.
there's three of us. I'm the only girl.
Now, what was that like growing up?
I liked it. Yeah. My mom and I were always really close. And so we were both Christians and, both ladies. And
Okay.
she, um, she actually wanted to be a professional singer herself, but she was too shy to pursue it. So
Oh,
she kind
really?
of lived her dream through me and supported me a lot in everything, anytime I did anything musically.
Oh, that must have been amazing then for you. That means because when it comes to a kid or teenager or adult, when
hmm
having the proper support is so important.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. She was my biggest supporter and my bestie. Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. So talking about, you mentioned you went to Vegas. What was the other place that you went to?
Point Clear, Alabama.
Okay,
Yeah, we
now
did like the golf tournament. We were the entertainment for the golf tournament one of the
okay,
years.
that's different.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah,
Met a
because
lot of interesting people. Met the ASCAP. I don't know if he's the owner, but he's over it. Paul
okay.
Williams.
Oh,
He
wow.
wrote songs. Really big uh, writer, songwriter,
Okay.
and he was really cool. Met him. Met some people from the movie Police Academy. It was cool. There was a lot of
Really?
interesting people. Yeah, it
You
was
know, you
fun.
know. the golf crowd is a different crowd completely. You
Yeah,
know, when you're
yeah.
dealing with golf, because I golfed a little bit, and I'm not really that good at it. That's one of those sports that you have to play at least 3 times a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
otherwise.
golf. No, I'm not a
All right.
golfer.
Okay, and growing up, were you now, other than singing, what were you into any sports or?
Um, in high school, I've always been tall, so I
Okay.
enjoyed being the guard in PE time. Basketball.
Oh,
So
were you a
yeah,
hooper?
I mean, I liked basketball with friends, played softball and stuff like that. But I
So
was
you,
always singing.
so you hooped, you basketball? Because I played hoop.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Okay.
a guard because I was so tall.
Uh, I love it. I love it. I was a point guard, so I know
Oh,
exactly what you're
cool.
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
guaranteed. That's cool. So
yeah.
softball, you played a little softball also?
A little bit, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna get into some questions about just your voice and singing. When
Mhm.
did you realize that you had the gift as far as singing? I know I mean, how old?
When I went to high school, when I was at the performing arts school, and Mrs. Hedgeman, she had me do a bunch of solos, and I remember getting out and singing my first solo, and the audience, you know, received me so well. I was just like in awe. I was like, wow, I got something. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Wow.
students, that I didn't really know, cool students, teachers that didn't like me. I mean, they were all like applauding and so
Let,
I was like, wow. And I was
let's
smiling so much. I needed to get off the stage, and Mrs. Hedge was like, Lisa, good, but get off the stage, honey. The next song, the next song. And I was just like smiling. I was taking it all in, and just
That's
enjoying it.
funny. That's fun. Hey, let me ask this
Yeah.
question. So let walk me back to that situation. So you get on stage. What song did you sing? You remember?
It was a song called Bluer Than Blue. It was a bluesy. It was like bluer than blue. I'm all alone and feeling bluer than blue. It was
Okay.
really cool. It was something
Okay.
different for me. And at that
Okay.
time, she had taught me how to express myself, so I was, moving with it and everything.
Oh, good, good. Now
Wasn't
that's it.
shy
That's
anymore.
important. That's important. So let's take a
Yeah.
step back. You
Okay.
you you start singing the song. The
hmm
crowd's receiving you. What were you feeling? I mean, I know that's a long time ago, but can you kind of
You
describe what it felt like?
when when I was a kid, I would sing like for my grandparents and my family and things. But as far as an audience, that was the first time that I felt like I really did a professional performance and
Okay.
felt the song and came across to the audience.
Wow.
I always knew that it was my calling in life, that was what God had called me to do. I just didn't know exactly which genre. I started out in pop and R&B, and then
Okay.
ended up in gospel. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's very interesting. So we're gonna go right back to all right. So you finish the song,
hmm
you get the applause from the crowd.
Yeah.
What were you thinking right then and there? I mean, just kind of give an idea.
I was just in awe. I mean, it was like it was an acceptance, a love, and like I said, in junior high, I was really shy. So this was a time that I really felt like I came across as confident because Mrs. Hedgeman had taught me so much about excellence and professionalism,
Mhm.
and I was able to really do what I felt was a good performance, a good professional performance. So I just was taking it all in. And like I said, she had to get me off the stage. I was just smiling. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't believe how they received me, because you're talking about your high school. This is my high
Right,
school audience. So
right.
I didn't know how I was going to come across,
Wow,
tough
that's
audience.
amazing. So okay, so uh the next question for you. So you're smiling really big. You're kind of like you're in that awe moment, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, like you found something you really really
Yeah.
like, and people are receiving you.
Uh-huh.
What was next for you after that?
After that, I went on and did the talent shows and the weddings. And then that
Okay,
was when I got into the bands and I did cover songs, pop and R&B, and then
Okay.
I went. My mom and I joined a church and a choir, and I got on
Okay.
the praise team. And again, he pushed me out to do a lot of solos and things,
Okay.
so I did them. And that was when I felt the pull towards gospel music, because I'd always been a Christian, but I wasn't certain of which genre God wanted me to go into. You know, as long as
Okay.
it's positive lyrics, I'm okay with it. You know,
Right.
encouraging
Right.
lyrics. And so I did that, and the music minister had me do a bunch of solos. Like at Easter time, I did Nicole C. Mullins, "I Know My Redeemer Lives." I know my Redeemer lives. That one, you know.
Okay.
And then after that, he asked me if I had any songs that I wanted to record, because I hadn't recorded anything yet. And I told him I was working on a few things, but at that time, I wasn't a really good songwriter. I was
Okay.
just kind of, you know, I wrote when I was a kid, but it was real simple. So I put it out there, and one of the songs was a special song, though. It was for my grandparents. It was a dedication to them, and it was called "Gone But Not Forgotten." And a little bit of the chorus, if you want me to sing it.
Oh,
It,
sure. I would love to. Love to hear.
it's and they're gone but not forgotten, though their memories with me still. I miss them more and more each day. It's just like time has stood still. And it was simple, but it was special for my
Wow.
grandparents. And it sold some, it did some, but I didn't feel like I had a song that was really bringing me out, you know, that was showing what God had put in me, that, you know, that I wanted to show and what I could do. And so that was years later when I did
Oh,
Just
okay.
Believe in 2018.
Wow. That's nice. That was nice. Definitely.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
my next question for you
Yeah.
is, okay, so that's your older projects that you work with. Um, were you ever in a band early with other people?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was like the female lead singer, and then there was like a guy lead singer. And we went around also. That was after the tribute artist that I did the duets with.
Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
let's examine that for a moment. Let's just
And I was
go
doing
back.
pop songs. I did
Okay.
Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Hart, um,
Okay.
Taylor Dane, Blondie,
Oh,
lots of
Blondie,
them.
that's one of my favorites. Blondie was one of my favorites. God,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to date myself.
Well, you know, I like it though. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
definitely, definitely.
yeah.
Now, out of different pop songs and different artists that you are basically doing covers and stuff, um, who would you say you really gravitated to? Which female artist do you think you gravitated more to?
Uh, well, CeCe Winans, I would love to work with her. I
Wow,
would love to work with her. I would love to work with Gladys Knight. Man, you
Gladys.
know,
Yeah,
her songs.
she's another.
Even even Ann Wilson, you know, that would be fun to, hey, you know, let me take over your little solo part for a while, you know, and sing with Nancy, you know, have a little bit of fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've always loved an R&B. Denise Williams. Oh man,
Okay.
that that stuff.
She
Yeah,
yeah, that's another level. She just has
that's
that.
how I learned how to hit my high notes, was listening to Denise. I used to
Huh.
imitate her.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
You know.
Definitely. We were talking about that earlier in the week, and it's interesting because normally I don't get a chance to really meet and greet and talk to the artists or movie people or whomever, business
Mhm.
owners that come on the show, and I just, for some reason, I wanted to kind of chat with you for about 5 minutes just to kind of get a feel, because
Yeah,
I wasn't bit, as I was telling you, I really haven't listened to Christian music. I really haven't listened to
right.
Baptist. I was too busy as I was growing up. I was in the sports and I was into everything else. I was very popular. So my mom
Uh-huh.
got it.
Yeah.
We started out, Catholic and then Christian and all that. But it's
Hmm.
interesting how we started out. I just got too busy, for anything. And but yeah, my family's pretty into everything also. Back to you. Let's just talk about how about brothers? Do your brothers sing at all?
No.
No, I,
No, Mama,
so,
Mama had the dream.
okay.
She had a really pretty voice, but was too shy to pursue it. My
Okay.
grandfather, he sang in choir. He sang bass
o-
in choir. And then I did
Okay.
have a cousin that did some tribute stuff that he would imitate, like Elvis and different people.
Wow. Okay. What
Yeah.
month? What month? Were you born?
I'm not gonna say.
Oh, okay. All right. I always
Oh,
ask
did you
that.
wait a minute? Did you say what year or what month?
No, no, never, never. I would. I have four sisters and
July.
seven aunts. I would never
Okay.
ask a woman that. I,
July.
okay,
July.
cool.
I'm a
Yeah, no,
July
I know.
baby.
I know way much too better. Hey, you know, my
Yeah.
grandmother would roll in her grave right now. If I asked you that question, because she taught us to be gentlemen. You know, all the guys.
Awesome.
There's
Awesome.
three of us the
Yeah.
same age. My
Yeah.
cousins,
I'm a
and
July baby.
okay, I'm a June baby. July what?
Oh, cool.
July what day?
29th.
July the
29th.
9th? 29th. Okay. All right, good day. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, it helps me know who I'm talking to at the same time. That's why I asked that
Oh,
the month
sure.
to
Sure.
guarantee. All right, cool. Now. What about your current projects that you're working on? Anything? Because I know COVID messed up a lot of stuff for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
never be back to what they call it normal. And I don't think we were normal then. There was a lot of things that were people. There's a lot of things people don't see. You know, we're
Yeah.
uncovering the veil. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But what current events are you working on, or current projects?
Well, going back to 2018, I did my first single that I felt was really a good single, Just Believe. I
Oh,
wrote that
okay.
about all the frustrations and
Did
everybody's
I hear?
believing for God for something,
Did
you
I
know.
hear that one? I don't think I heard that one.
Oh, you haven't heard that one yet? Yeah,
No,
it's on my
I'll have to go and check. I'll
arsenal.
check that one out tonight. Definitely. All right.
Okay.
What is that
Yeah,
one kind of?
yeah. So,
How's it go a little bit?
um,
You remember? I mean,
let's
not
see.
put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah. Just believe. I can't think of the beginning of
No,
my
but, oh,
song.
that's fine. That's fine. But I was just trying to get an idea for it. No, you got a great voice.
Thank
I was
you.
just trying to get an idea. Now, see, I slipped there because I didn't realize that one, and that one I would have really liked to hear. So I'm gonna have to go back and examine that one tonight. It gives me
Yeah,
something to
yeah.
do.
I did that
Definitely.
in 2018,
Okay.
and yeah,
All
and
right.
in between that time, I was helping to take care of my mama, and I got back to my music. She had a stroke in 2013,
Oh, sorry to hear that. Okay.
but she recovered from it. And then
Okay.
2015, we lost my daddy. So
Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah.
thank you. So in 2018, I was finally getting back into music, and
Got
I
it.
did that, and I helped take care of her. She had a walker and a wheelchair when we would leave the house, and so I
Oh,
did both of those things. But I'm so glad I did. So glad
no,
I did.
that's the most important time that you can spend. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You know.
Yeah, because we lost her May 6, 2020.
Oh,
That was
sorry to hear that.
what my song "You Are My Lord." It started out as a praise song,
Uh-huh.
and she heard me write it, but she didn't hear me record it. She had passed a few months before I recorded it,
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
and I added a verse in it. Yeah, about the morning that God got me through the worst day of my life.
I
So
can
it ended
imagine.
up being a praise song and a dedication to my mom. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. I do understand exactly where you're coming from. Yeah. I've lost family, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. So it's one of those things where, and especially being an artist, when you're writing music, not that I'm an artist on that point, but it's just I understand. I mean, as I told you, music people are my tribe. So
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I mesh with music people. Other people, it's kind of hard for me to really talk to because I'm on another level. I'm spinning, and if you start
Uh-huh.
talking music, to me, I'm right there with you. You
Yeah.
know,
It's that
um,
creative side of you.
yeah, you can feel it. Well, it's my passion. You know, it's in my
Mm-hmm.
soul. So when
Yeah.
something's in your soul, it's totally different than trying to do it. So it's like for me to go, if I was to go and jump on a mixer and all that kind of stuff, all that stuff would come natural because of my passion for it. When you love something versus
Yeah.
just do it, totally
Oh
different.
yeah. Oh,
And
it's a
then
big.
And if it's in your soul, like I was talking with Chad, who's going back to the Apollo on the
Yeah,
19th to do for
great.
the third appearance, and I was telling him when I first talked with him, I was like, you know what I noticed about him real quick? There's a difference between a singer songwriter and then a singer songwriter vocalist. So when you talk about a singer versus a vocalist, we're talking about two different. They sing from
Yeah.
different parts, you know, their body and the way they create. You know, if you're a singer songwriter. When did you first realize that you were going to become a good songwriter? Because I've heard a couple of your songs and they're very good.
Thank you. Thank you. As a kid, I was like writing stories and adding music, I would hear when I work, the way that I work, I am a songwriter, but I'm not a songwriter to where like I can just sit and just write and write and write. I have to like really feel it.
Okay.
And it's when God gives it to me, I'll hear the song in my head, like the music, and then I'll hear the words and I'll just write it down.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that probably since a teenager, but have gotten much better as an adult.
Okay. Take us, well, not me, because we'll have audience and people watching this over and over. Take me through writing music. Like God talks to you and where are you at?
I don't actually write music notes. I can sight read some, but I sing by ear. I can.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And you play it on the piano, and if it's in my range, I can hit it, because I hear it. And so I sing by what I hear. And when I write it down, I'll just get a recorder and like the app recorders, and I'll have an idea and I'll just sing it into the app and then I'll write the words after. Yeah.
This is really good for someone new or someone young trying to become a songwriter or just in the music, like my 9-year-old who is sings very well. But to hear you explain that, because everybody's different in how they you write things down. Can you say that again? How you actually create? I want to hear that again.
Okay, so I'll hear a song in my head. God will just give me a song in my head, and I'll record it, and then later I'll write down the lyrics. Like after I'm hearing myself singing it, because it just comes so instinctively, just from God. It just comes to me. But as I said, I am a songwriter. But I don't do it like all the time. I couldn't like just get paid to write songs. I'm part of ASCAP. Thank God I am part of ASCAP. But I just, whenever I feel a song, I write a song.
All right, that's not bad. When you're writing songs, let me ask this question. Do you need to be away somewhere, or how do you set yourself up for it? Are you at home? Doors locked, curtains down.
Just at home, any room in the house. Yeah, just nice, little quiet, and like I said, I just get my recorder out and sing into it, and listen to it, and feel like if I need to add more verses to it, because sometimes it comes out just really, a little bit at a time, and then as I said, I'll write it down, and then I'll go back and I'll record, when I add more words to it, more lyrics.
Okay. Because right now I follow a lot of music. I love a lot of genres, and it's funny because I just recently, maybe I think it was last week, I listed all the genres that I love, and like love, and it was like it was up to like 15 or 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And then I realized after I put those down that I left off a few more, and I'm like, oh wow, do I really? And I realized how much variety that I do love. And so asking you, what's your favorite genres that you like?
I love R&B. Love R&B. And that's why I'm a Christian R&B artist. Because I love the Christian music.
Okay.
And the lyrics.
Okay.
To the R&B music, yeah.
Okay. So and you were saying earlier some of the singers, the artists that you were actually naming before, you can go into Motown for
man, I would love to do a Motown album. Yeah.
Oh,
that would be so much fun.
Yeah, that's just that's just a different love right there. When they sing, it's just Motown just had it going on Totally.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I sure
Totally.
do.
And now let me ask this question: what's your, let's see, your top 5 female singers right now?
Oh wow. Well,
Take your
I have
time,
to
no
go back
rush.
to the classics. Denise Williams,
Okay.
Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, um, CeCe Winans, still CeCe.
Hmm.
Let's see, that's 4. um,
Okay.
who else? Um, mm, I'm trying to think of who's alive because I liked Whitney and
While you're
you
doing
know.
that, also Nate,
um,
give me five males also.
oh, I would love to work with Daryl Hall. Of the Hall and Oates. I
Okay.
I
Yes.
think his voice is awesome, and as a solo artist, man, I would love to do a duet with him.
Wow. Okay.
Two blonde hair, blue eyed soul people, getting together. That would be awesome.
That
That's
would.
what they call me in gospel music, anyways. Blonde hair, blue eyed soul sister. I love it though. I do.
I
I
can see.
love it.
I can see you. I can see you around too. Yeah, because
I
I've
love it.
been in
Yeah.
studios, and
Oh, I love it.
I went to studios where in some of the areas, and it's like you go to studio in one black area, and then you go to studios in all kind of areas and whatever. But I remember walking into one studio, and I forgot where we're at, somewhere in LA. And you
Mm-hmm.
go, and I was like, I don't know if I want to park my car here. But I
Oh,
went in,
yeah.
and it was so funny because I walked inside the studio and meeting some friends there.
Mm-hmm.
And here I walk inside, and here there's this little blonde girl is doing some backup singing, and she's going to be
Uh-huh.
doing the hook. And
Uh-huh.
you look at a little tiny girl, and you're like, you're this was years ago, but it was so funny, So
Uh-huh.
when you say that,
Uh-huh.
I do understand
Yeah.
that, guarantee.
Yeah. And Lionel Richie, Stevie
Mm,
Wonder,
okay.
um, gosh, do I name 5? Is that
I
3?
think that probably was. That probably was. I got another question for you.
Sure.
Now, how did you get Chad? How did you meet Chad?
Oh yeah, through Soul Radio coast-to-coast.com.
No,
Um,
I've heard a lot about the station.
they're my home. They're my home. And
Okay.
DJ Crunch is the one that launched me on his Crunch Time show on Tuesday nights. Here's a plug for you, DJ Crunch.
There you go.
Tuesday nights.
Okay.
And he launched me. And then they have Sunday morning gospel shows, Chad's show, It's All Gospel. And then they have the Sunday morning gospel music experience with Carolyn Coleman Grady. And she's my
Okay.
sis on there. And I'm on regular rotation there. But I got to be on there when I found out that Chad was going to be having a show on there. And then I
Okay.
let
Yeah.
him hear my song, and he put it on his show. And we just kind of been, texting back and forth and
Okay.
became friends. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
He's awesome.
I was just chatting with him earlier, and yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's not the first time I've heard about the station from John Thor also, who was
Yeah.
a friend
Yeah.
of Chad. So, and he was the one that turned me on. Thank you, John Thor, so much, good friend, and
Oh, they
also
have
his wife.
awesome music.
He turned me on to Chad,
Mm-hmm.
and so I always like to give credit where credit's due, and it's like it's always nice when you have friends that you've
Oh,
talked
yeah.
to. I had him on the show probably 3 or 4 times, and then I was talking to him one night. I had seen he had ran a video, posted a video of his daughter and him in his studio, and she can sing too, and I was like, whoa! And so, making a long story short, I commented on that, and I was like, I want you to post that on my page. I said, you need to post that on my page, my Facebook page, and he did. And then a week later, I think it was, he sent me some information about Chad, and I was like, oh, I'll take a look at it. And I got to remind you, I had not had anyone on, or we haven't had anyone on the show that was, Christian singers or our Christian R&B or gospel or anything. So it was new to me, and I was like, okay, and I don't know that much about it because I've never got a chance to really listen to it. I've heard it, a little bit here and there, but not enough to like make a difference, where where like when I heard it, it was like I was like getting out of the car, out of somebody's car that had it on, um, or I was actually going somewhere by a church and I could hear them, singing,
Uh-huh.
practicing some of
Yeah.
that sort. So there's a big difference of when you stop and you actually because as much music that I listen to
Yeah.
per day. Yes, it's
Yeah.
interesting. So,
I
yeah.
think gospel music is some of the most passionate music. We're singing to God and we're trying to encourage people, lead them closer to Him. Yeah, you need to check it out more.
Yeah, that being said, I've been trying, and in the last couple, actually, I don't use the word try. I've done it. I've listened to some. I don't believe you in trying. You either do it or you don't.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah. There's no such thing as trying. You're either in it or
right.
you're not.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so I've got a few songs down. Plus, I've listened to some of your work. I got to find that other one that you're just talking about.
yeah, just
Um,
believe.
and yeah, just please, I'm gonna write that down, and I'm gonna have to uh, listen to more of Chad's because he's got some more work out there.
Yeah.
And I've listened to another young lady, Trina Cuff. I've got the other name, but yeah, I've listened to some of her work, which is very very good. Also, she's got some new work coming out. Um, yeah, so back to you. So we talked about your first projects that you work with. We talked about your current projects, future projects. Anything in the works?
Yeah, I've got some new material I'm working on,
Okay.
and I would love to do a full album. It's what I'm working towards.
Okay. Okay. You've worked in Memphis with Carl Weiss, Blue Boy Records, right?
Yeah, yeah. He actually is the one that produced Just Believe. He was my manager
Okay.
for a couple of years. Yeah,
Okay. That no, that's one cool dude. I'll tell you. I had the pleasure of having him on the show twice. We did a part one and a part two.
hmm
That guy has some stories from
he
just some
does. He does a lot of
historical,
history.
a lot of history. I mean, like some stuff that if you put it in a book, it's a bestseller because it's just
hmm
like you would some of the people that he's worked with,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean just legends, and he's a
Uh
legend.
huh.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
So yeah, guaranteed. That was that. What was that like working with Carl?
Yeah, we did. I did the Just Believe. He did a few songs that he also wrote. They're
Okay.
on my YouTube channel. I actually got a Hot Buttered Soul Award, female vocalist here in Memphis. It was really
Explain that to
cool.
me. What's a hot butter?
Hot Buttered Soul Award. Um,
Yeah.
it is, um, I believe it started with Isaac Hayes, that he started it
Okay.
back in like the 70s or 80s.
Okay.
And what it is for people in Memphis that have made a difference.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because I want to know when people say something to me. I don't want to be ignorant, and that's one way
Yeah.
not to be ignorant. You
Yeah.
ask the question. But
Yeah.
it's cute though. Hot buttered soul. I
Hot
like.
Buttered Soul Award. Yeah. It's very cool. It's very cool. I was really proud to get it.
Yeah, because I think a hot butter. I think about corn, and I think about
Yeah, well, it's
some.
like popcorn. I think it's like supposed to be, I don't know, soulful or something. Yeah.
I love it. So you got hot butter. I love it. So you made me
Isaac
laugh.
Hayes, I think he's the one that came up with the name.
Okay.
I think. I'm
Okay.
not sure. But
Well, it sounds like something that he would come up with.
yeah.
Exactly. Or would have come up with.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
hmm
All right. So future projects you're working towards doing an album. How many how
Yeah.
many how many songs? 14, 16,
I'd like to do at least 9 or 10.
9 or 10? Okay. So all
Yeah.
right.
Just to
'Cause
start with, at least.
yeah,
But I have to work on some more material. I don't
yeah,
have enough songs right
guaranteed. Guaranteed. Have you thought about more of the more a little deeper R&B with more soul into it?
Yes, yes. Actually, I want to do some more music. I want to do a mixture
Okay.
of more soulful music behind my Christian music. Yeah, the song that I did, "You Are My Lord,"
Mhm.
is I did that with the producer Mark Blackwood. He produced it for me. He's of the Blackwood Brothers that were behind Elvis. Did his
Yes,
backup.
I'm familiar. Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that produced it for me. Did a great job, and did the music production and everything. And
Okay.
I need more material to do a full album.
I guarantee
But
you. Yeah,
yeah, I'm working on it.
it's not easy to write an album, you know.
Yeah, get a record label. Hey, I'm out here, people.
Yeah. How are you doing promoting right now? I mean, how do you promote yourself?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Okay. If someone's trying to find your music, can you tell them how to find it right now?
Yeah. I'm on Facebook, Lisa Stevens. I have 2 pages. I have a personal page and a artist page, Lisa Stevens Christian R&B artist, and then Instagram, official Lisa Stevens.
Yeah, you have to do
TikTok,
that.
and TikTok, Lisa Stevens 261.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
And before we take off out of here, which is we got plenty of time. Before we take off out of here, I want to make sure that you do that again because you never know. People miss stuff in the beginning, and
Sure.
and what I've noticed with our podcast, people are always trying to find out, how to find your music and where you're at and things of that nature. So it's very
Okay.
important. Yeah,
Okay.
guaranteed. So next question I have for you,
Mm-hmm.
as far as because the reason I asked you about the R&B with a little more soul into it, because I would love to hear you with some beats in it,
Yeah. I'm
'cause-
working towards it. Yeah.
yeah, because I think
Yeah.
it's just me. I hear
No,
voices.
I want some music behind me that is more R&B. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think with your voice, and it sounds like you got a little twang in there, a little country twang in there. So
When I speak, not when I
Yeah.
sing, but when I speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Memphis. I'm a Southern girl. I do.
It was what's funny
But I
about
don't-
that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but I don't sound country.
No,
I'm
not
not
at all.
country at all.
No, you got, but I can hear it because I live different places,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
being born in the United States, and then when you go live in other countries, you come back and you really pick up different sounds because
Mhm.
after listening to people throughout the Caribbean and Mexico, and just speaking Mayan and speaking
Mhm.
Spanish, but then down there's people from all over the world. So you got a lot of Italian, you got an Italian district, you got a
Yeah.
Chinese district, you got all these different districts within the Caribbean and Mexico. Then you got Belize, and then you got all these different areas throughout South America where there's all these different languages come together. So
Yeah.
for me being there for 10 years, it was interesting. So when I finally came back in 2017, I was laughing because every time someone would talk on one of our podcasts, and I wouldn't even know, I could tell where they were from. I was like, "You're from,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "How'd you know that?"
You can definitely tell I'm from the South.
Yeah. I was going to say, if I would have known, I would have said you're either from Tennessee or you're from Memphis.
Memphis, Tennessee, you got it.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. No, I'm just teasing you. I have a good friend of mine who is from Tennessee. He bleeds orange and white, and
I know
Tennessee
a lot
Balls. When that football's on, I'll just tell you how much I know
yeah.
about Tennessee Vols.
Oh,
When
yeah.
football's on, they shut down everything. When college football is on, you can't find anybody to do anything when football's on. They shut down everything. Yeah, so definitely. But yeah, as I was saying about where you're from, that you can definitely tell a Tennessee girl or somewhere throughout Alabama or somewhere in that vicinity. My dad was born in Mississippi, and got a lot
cool.
of
My mama was from Mississippi, Water Valley.
Oh, really? Okay. I can't tell you exactly, but I got a lot of family down there in the South. I haven't really spent that much time in the South. Maybe Atlanta. That was it. I was in an airport.
Oh, that's it. You gotta have more Southern times.
I've had a lot of friends that have invited me down to Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. My niece went to school, Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? Athens, where Georgia Bulldogs is Athens.
Maybe. I'm
Yeah, I
not
think it's
sure.
something like that. But yeah, my niece went there, graduated, masters and all that. And so I know about that, and I got UCLA alumni from my little sister. Got my niece, who is Georgia Bulldogs.
Ah,
Her dad is USC.
mm.
My little sister, I said UCLA. So you can imagine when football time came, there knew.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was interesting. And then my other nephew was let's see, he went to Utah and then ended up
Mhm.
going to Detroit. So it's like, yeah, they had a lot of people going crazy in there when it came to football,
Mhm.
especially with USC or UCLA and the Bulldogs playing. Oh, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you couldn't get anything to eat.
So,
So back to your upbringing and all that. Your brothers, you talked about them. So you, as far as what else do you do other than music? What do you do for fun?
music, God and music is my life.
Yeah, because you have to step out of that for a moment just to breathe and to create.
I guess writing songs, reading the Bible,
Okay,
watching
okay.
TV,
Watching
watching
TV.
movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
I
movies.
like, huh?
So movies. What kind of movies?
Um, my mom and I always liked the suspense movies. We always like to figure out who the killer is, and we usually did. We usually did. They were cool, you know. So I like the suspense movies, the romantic comedies,
Okay.
um, TV shows that are the action and the drama and the suspense, stuff like
Wow.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
watch some TV too. Yeah.
okay, let me ask this question. What you think are you a better writer than singer, or where would you place that?
Oh no, vocalist.
Vocalist? Okay.
Vocalist. That's
Better book?
that's what God put inside me. I mean,
Okay.
when I was a baby, there's a baby picture of me. Mama used to tell people I was born. I came out singing because my mouth is like, ah, and it's look like I'm singing or something. So I'm definitely God made me a vocalist.
A
Yeah.
vocalist. Okay, cool. Because
Hmm.
I talk to a lot of different artists, and they'll say, well, I've made it in the singing part. That's where I
Hmm.
get paid from, but I'm a much better writer than a
Hmm.
singer. And you never know. You never know. So that's why I asked that question. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I like to write, as I said, some too. I
Hmm.
actually, my grandfather, he used to write songs on my dad's side.
Okay.
So I think I get a little bit of that from him, and then I think the vocal is from God and my mama, because she had a
Okay.
pretty voice too.
Okay. And out of the songs that you've written, what are your favorite two?
Oh, you are my Lord and just believe.
Okay, those are your favorite two. Your
Hmm.
top. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
And the dates of those when they were written roughly.
Just believe was written in 2018,
Okay,
and you are my Lord was written in 2020.
that's right. Okay, just want to get that right for the people that are going to be watching this
Mhm.
later, because one of the biggest questions for someone that follows music, like myself, is I always go back when I look at a song, and I'm always looking. When was this written? When did this premiere?
Yeah.
Very important because certain songs are timeless, and no
Yeah.
matter what, you put them on, and you're like, yeah, I like this.
Hmm.
Yeah, very very important. Again, for our viewers that probably are going to join in a little bit later that watch this, how do they find your music again?
Okay. I have a YouTube artist channel that is Lisa Stevens, Christian R&B artist,
Mhm,
that y'all can subscribe to. Please do. And
mhm.
then Facebook, I'm Lisa Stevens, Christian R&B artist. And then I have a personal page, just Lisa Stevens. And then on Instagram, official Lisa Stevens. And then TikTok, I am Lisa Stevens 261. And I'm also on Reverb Nation, the top 15 Christian gospel artists in Nashville.
Hey, explain that one to me because I was going to look that one up last night, but I didn't get a chance to. Tell me, explain who they are a little bit more
Reverb
about them?
Nation is it's a platform that has different artists on it and in different genres. And
Okay.
I'm blessed to be actually over a year and a half to be in the top 20 of the Christian gospel artists on the
Wow, are
list.
you really?
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
God,
that's an honor. That's an honor. Seriously,
thank
that is
you.
an honor. Yeah, that's huge. When in placing it, when they start placing numbers, like you charted at this number or you charted at that
Mhm,
number, or to
mhm.
be you're in the top 15, or if you're in the top 5, or if you're what when you're in that top 20, that says something about your craft, that people are
Yeah,
paying attention.
yeah. The highest
So
I've been is number 4. It goes back and forth. Sometimes I'm 15, sometimes I'm 4, sometimes I'm 9, 10. But just to even be in the top 20, I'm grateful.
yeah. No, well, because like with any sports craft or whatever it might be you're into, um, when they start putting numbers on you,
Mhm.
that means that I should stay in this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because some,
And it's
because
in
sometimes
Nashville. What's so cool? I'm in Memphis, but that's the Nashville people. And
that's
so yeah,
huge. That's
I'm
huge.
hoping in the future maybe to move closer to Nashville.
Okay, yeah. Well, Nashville's where it's at. If you're in the singing, you know what that means. Guaranteed,
Yeah, they
they're
have
big about.
a lot of gospel stuff too, other than just country. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had when I was working in Vegas some years ago, um, and living out there, it was interesting because I met a lot of people from Nashville that moved to Vegas for the casino part of it, so they could work and
Uh-huh.
have steady incomes and a better raise their pay. And
Hmm.
but they moved there too to try and get into performing, singing in the lounges
Yeah.
and stuff. Where they had
Yeah.
the lounge singers, and
Hmm.
now all that's
Yeah.
changed. But yeah, it was huge, very huge.
Hmm.
If you could sing 3 places where you would love to be able to perform,
Oh wow.
meaning, like, for example, like it could be a stadium, it could be the Hollywood Bowl here in California. It could be
Wow.
what 3 places would you like to perform?
Whew. Yeah, the Hollywood Bowl would be awesome. Carnegie Hall.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
um, all the big places. Just as huge of an audience that God would allow. That's
Now,
what
let me ask this, following up with that, since we're on that topic. Um, how big have the audience been so far for some of your performances?
I did the national anthem. There was 2,000 people here in
Oh, you did,
Memphis.
where was the national anthem at?
Here in Memphis at the ball baseball game.
Oh, how cool! How cool is that? No,
Yeah,
no, walk me through this.
yeah.
So you're doing the national anthem. You got to have some jitters in you because that's a lot of
Oh,
people. Do you,
yeah.
do, you, do you
The
do you get
funny,
nervous?
yeah. Oh my gosh. The funny thing is that I didn't know to have a hearing earplug. So I'm singing the national anthem, and it's an echo. Oh, oh, say. And I was like hearing myself and thinking, okay, God, get me through this, please. I don't know what my next word is. I just went through it and it actually worked. I
Oh
actually did
wow!
it without earplugs. I mean, even Whitney had to have earplugs,
No,
you know?
everybody needs earplugs. Didn't you? You didn't know
Yeah.
that? Oh my god!
I did not know that. At the time, I was so new, just I was green at the time that I did this.
Wow!
and
Wow!
and so
Wow!
but I got through it and everybody applauded and it was like, okay, hey, it worked out. It was cool.
That's cool. That is definitely cool. Glad to hear that. I want to really thank you, Lisa Stevens, for joining us this evening. Is there anybody that you want to say hello to, or we
Oh
call it
gosh,
shout out?
if I started naming people, somebody'd get upset I left them out. But I will tell you, everybody who is family, friends, supporters, followers, I love you guys, and thank you for following me and my music.
And I noticed that you have a lot of followers. That's great. That means that
Thank
you're
you, thank
you're
you
making a difference. You're definitely making a difference. That's
for
that's
God and
huge.
for people.
That's huge. All you say he's working through you, so you know what that means. That means you just, you're a
I'm
messenger.
doing what I'm supposed to do.
Hey, I want to
Amen.
thank you for joining us this evening.
I had
Um,
a good time. Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks for inviting
and
me.
hey, guaranteed. Do me one more favor. Let people know again where to find your music at. I'm going to be actually checking that out later on also. So where do we find your music again?
Okay. You can find my music. I'm on all platforms. You can find me on Reverb Nation. You can find me on my YouTube channel. You can uh, on the YouTube channel. Yeah, my YouTube artist channel, Lisa Stevens, Christian R&B artist,
Okay.
and you can subscribe there. If you go to Reverb Nation, you can hear me there. And as I said, I'm on all the platforms: Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Deezer.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. All right, Lisa, we're about to take off, and I want to thank you for joining us this evening. Okay.
You.
All right. Well, you have a good evening. Okay.
You too. God bless
All
you.
right. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.